சரி எடுத்துட்டீங்களா?
Okay, Assalamu alaikum. Now I am going to teach about psychology, introduction to psychology. First of all, we need the definition of psychology. There are a lot of definitions for psychology subject by the many educators and psychologists. First of all, we see what is psychology. Psychology is the studies the behavior, activities and mental process of human beings. That includes the mental and humanity, behavioral activities also. Okay, right. Then we have to know about the education, because we will study about educational psychology. First of all, we need the separate what is psychology and what is education, because both are coincidence in education psychology. So we study about both separately, then only we include we can create the definition of education psychology. What is education? Education means carried out by one person. Second one, standing in front of the class. I am in front of you. I am teaching something to you. Transmitting information. I give some information from me, my side, to you to get any knowledge. Then, what is education psychology? Education psychology is the effort of implementation of psychology in a classroom effectively or appropriately. Okay, we know the psychology. We know the psychology of our human or mind or soul. So we have to apply in a classroom. That is the educational psychology. As a teacher, we know all the students and we have to study their mind. In an application of education psychology in a classroom, that was a appropriate method or manner. That is the education psychology. There are many educators and psychologists delivered some definitions. For example, Lindgren 1980, education psychology includes learners, learning activities and situation of learning. These are the three things include his statement. And other psychologist Wolfgang in 1987, education psychology means a technique that leads to understand and develop the teaching learning process. While teaching in the classroom, a teacher should use the techniques to impress the students. That is the teaching techniques to impress. Otherwise, we can't teach in 40 minutes what we expect from the students. That is a technique. This is a word for statement from. Next, what are the other definitions of psychology? We have studied what are the definitions of education type psychology from what from psychologists or educators. Now we will see what is what are the definitions of psychology. The definition was developed based on three keywords. The psychology's definitions derive from three keywords. What's that? Scientific, behavior, and mental process. All the three things should be includes when we say about the definition of the psychology. Next, psychology. Any other definitions? According to our theory, psychology as the science about soul. Okay? And psychology as the science of mind. Soul, mind, and others. Psychology as the science that studies the behaviors of living. Another thing, psychology as the study of the man. That is the individual, students individual. We have to know about them in a classroom. If we study all the students in the classroom, we will achieve our aim through our lesson. Otherwise, we can't. Psychology is the scientific behaviors and mental process. Right. So likewise there are lot of definitions are found in the concept. Okay, right. What's that? Science of the soul, science of mind, science of man, science of behaviors, mental process. Come, that's it. Okay, now let's see the branches of psychology. What's that? Okay, what's that? Branches means in the psychology we have a lot of divisions. While we study while we teach to the students or while we study a lesson, we have to know about that first of all. If you want to settle in a family, if you want to familiarize in your relation or families, we have to, so you have to know or you have to study about the family, isn't it? That is the adults or family psychology. If you are parent, you know about your children, okay, or babies, whatever it is they want to expect from you, that is child psychology. You need some psychology to apply your children, child psychology. And also educational psychology. While you are teaching in your society or school, in that time you have to apply the education psychology also. Likewise, the applied psychology. What are the knowledge you are getting from a concept? You should apply in each and every, whatever it is, each and every field, you have to apply this psychology. Not only human beings, but also animals has animal psychology also found here. Okay, because animals are most important to our environment, to balance the environmental nature of environment. Otherwise, the imbalance will occur. Imbalance will occur. We are faced to, so we will face the pollution. So otherwise, it's a scientific way. to balance our environmental without any harmful environment, without any harmful, we have to know about the animal psychology also. And clinical psychology, what is that? Clinical psychology. Psychology is the art of study, no? Art of study. Because we are playing with the mind of students, mind of family members, mind of children, mind of adults, mind of animals. So that is the art of study. Clinical psychology means if you are a psychiatrist, you will face a problem of a person. Before that, you have to apply the clinical method. What are the problems are found in the person? What was the wrong in that person's mind? So you, in that situation, you have to use the clinical psychology. No? Likewise, there are a lot of psychologists, branch of psychologists are here. We need little bit up to 10. I mentioned here 10 psychology division. We have a lot of psychology method. We know, we will see the psychology method one by one, okay, in future. Next, the role of teachers through the educational psychology. The role of teachers through the educational psychology is categorized from the following three things. What are the role of teachers? We are teachers, no? So you have a lot of roles. You are the role models for your classroom children, students. So what's that? What are the roles of you? You are the guide. You are a
mother.
Guide. Act as a logo parents. Until they started the school education, their parents do their activities to achieve their goals. After enter the school, you all act as a logo parents. Okay, so you act as if you are lady mother, if you are a gen teacher, he act as a father of a student. So you are the guide and other friend. Very good. Then leader. Okay. Then
Child.
planner.
Student
Students
also.
also. In that situation, you have to change your model as a student to familiarize with the students. Next, evaluator. What is evaluator? During your teaching time in a 40 minutes, you must be an evaluator. Which children is multi-talented and extraordinary. In that time, you will see slow learners also. You must be an evaluator. So, if you have an idea of a students, you will display your lesson according their knowledge. Okay. So you should be an evaluator. Organizer of learning situation. What's that? You have a lot of classes in your school. There are parallel class and a chain block class. So there are so many problems will come from any other neighbor's classroom. Next the classroom. So if in that time you must change your organizing power. In that time, you should organize your classroom as effectively to impress the students without any other noise. To manage the noise from other classes, you have an idea. So that is the technique to manage the noise from other class and other students disturbance. These are the organizer. In your concern your classroom, you organize any other for example, in your classroom you have 35 students. All 35 students are not same. In that time, you should use your organizing power also. That is the learning situation. You must know about the situation. Okay. What are the what's the way of characterizing the role of teacher? Kotalawala 1966, he said that there are two keywords. There are three words defines the role of teacher in a psychological way. Okay, to limit aims of learning. If a teacher teach in a classroom or any other whatever it is, they have lot of roles. These roles are derived from these three things: to limit aims of learning, to organize learning activities, to elevate activities of learning outcomes. Okay, these are the Kotalawala's statement. The role of teachers that derives from these keywords. Next, you have to prepare these answers for the questions. Okay, you have to prepare the answers for these questions. What we study the psychology? Why we study the psychology? Why we need this psychology? You are a B.Ed students, no? So you are in your first semester. So in first semester you study the psychology initially. Why you need the psychology? We all know the definition of psychology, isn't it? Am I correct? Okay. So why we study the psychology?
To understand the students.
To understand the students. Okay, good.
To manage the classroom successfully.
Manage the classroom successfully. Okay.
With the help of the psychology knowledge, we can identify the students.
Can identify the students. Okay. Then
to give the lesson completely for the students.
To fulfill the lesson.
To give the lesson completely
to the students. Okay. Next.
To make them interesting in the subjects.
To make them interesting in a subject. Okay. To impress the students.
Yes.
Okay. According to that, we wake up the students.
Yes.
To we are the classroom. Okay. Right. Then you write it down the questions. Why we study the psychology, and second question is, what are the uses of education psychology to the teachers? These are the questions for you. You have to prepare clearly. Yeah? My concern in a psychology subject, in future you will have faced some exam, no? In that time we expect from you uh, the actual answer of statement, definition. In other questions you will answer and clarifies the answers according to a psychological knowledge to a questions. Okay, uh, according to a experience from your classroom. That is the way of answering. That is the applied psychology. No, if questions will come for you, you will answer and define the questions according to your experience of from your classroom. That is the psychological answer method. Okay, why we study the psychology? Why we study the psychology? To study the heart or to study the mind of our student in a classroom concern. Okay, but why we need study psychology? Then to apply the psychology in a classroom to achieve our goal. What are the goal aims achieved from the classroom within a 40 minutes? That is the psychology knowledge, or as a technique to impress our students or to fulfill our lesson within a 40 minutes period. Otherwise we will win the goal, no? Right. Then all students are not in same level. So to balance our classrooms, to manage our classroom, to maintain our classroom management, manage our classroom, no? So we have to apply the psychology. Before to apply the psychology, we know the knowledge about the psychology. If you don't have any knowledge of psychology, can we apply the psychology in a classroom? That is harmful. Oh, that is a wrong way to the teaching learning process, no? So we first of all we need the knowledge of psychology. That are the reasons we need the psychology. Then education psychology. Earlier I told you about the psychology and educations are coincidence to the education psychology. Both are important to us. From that we apply in a classroom effectively to impress our students. Not only in students, but also our leader or manager or our principal. So our directors, to achieve our goal within our teaching learning process, we have to know about the education, what is education psychology. Then only we will see the familiarized place. We will change our teaching learning process as a psychologist. Each and every teachers are psychologists. We will have a special power to manage our students, no? Because their family backgrounds are different. They are coming from different society, different families. So we will manage psychology to the teachers. First question is common for common people. Now second one is uses to the teachers. Psychology is most important, not only teachers, but also everyone should know about the psychology. Okay. If we are in a school, that time we act as a teacher. If you are in a family, you act as a mother or child or daughter or whatever it is. In that time, you know about the psychology to manage each and everyone in your family, in your neighbor, in your relation. Okay. So these are the video. These are the education psychology and uses. Everything was all in your. Sir, final பண்ணிட்டீங்களா? So பண்ணிட்டீங்க. ஃபுல்லா எடுத்தீங்களா? வருது வச்சுங்களா நீங்க? இவன் பெருசாக கேட்க மாட்டீங்கன்னா